Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. And yep, we're diving straight in. Actually, this is the point where I started hitting record when this started happening. What had happened is something that had happened in a video I had done probably about a month or so ago, where I had gone down and I delivered goods to a base. And then, or I had picked up goods and I had immediately gotten jumped by a pirate ship. Well, it seems that in 3.01 that this trend continues. And here I am on Chelin. I had just landed at a base, which is probably about 500 meters below me, and delivered some goods rather, when all of a sudden a pirate caterpillar spawned on top of me, bounced itself off the ground, and then began to shoot me. Luckily, because of the bounce, I was able to get into my ship, get the engines up, and then start shooting at it. And I guess because of the atmosphere, the gravity, the pirate caterpillar was more or less hopeless, and it was just a question of me figuring out that I was still in stealth mode, and then or at least partially powering my weapons back up, and then we would be taking this guy right down. Now, it also relates to another video that I had done actually just last week, where I was talking about what happens if you were to blow up a cargo ship in the atmosphere, and could you then go and do that, like where some people would go in, knock the ship down, and then other people would come in to clean it up after the fact. And so we're gonna kind of see a little bit of that in this video. We're going to explore these things. This was all just a fortuitous, lucky event that happened, and yeah, it really worked out. Now, there was one other thing while we're waiting for this guy to die that I wanted to talk about, which was, yes, I did in fact stream on Saturday. I had no real pre-plan for this. I had no, I had no overall grand scheme for streaming. I just kind of was playing early in the morning, and I just said, you know what, let's just turn on the Shadow Play streaming. Let's just put it through on YouTube, and we'll just hang out with whoever pops in, just talk about ships. And ended up doing it for, there are several sessions. There's a whole bunch of little videos where I started and stopped, and I mean, if you go through them, you'll see me talking to people and then saying, you know, like, oh, is it only showing in 480p? 1 second, let me start the stream, stop the stream, and, you know, because I'd never streamed before, and so I was just having fun with it. And in doing that, I had cleared out the title of it, and Shadow Play automatically apparently titles Star Citizen as Squadron 42-Star Citizen, and so there was a whole bunch of people who started hopping into the stream and saying, what, this isn't Squadron 42? And I guess a couple of people were kind of mad and felt that it was clickbait, but you know, it wasn't, and I highly doubt that Chris Roberts would have given me an advanced copy of Squadron 42. But there we go. We've blown up the pirate caterpillar, and the pinata has activated, and now you're seeing me desperately trying to follow the crates down towards the ground without hitting the ground, so that we can begin the retrieval. Now, of course, you know, some of the things that you could technically complain about, I don't think are really necessary. I mean, sure, you know, we can get a better ground reference system in the game, but I mean, that's something that I think, you know, we've all spoken, like a lot of people have spoken about, and I think that CIG will implement, but it's a system that would require development like anything else, like even the simple picking up and placing of objects. I mean, it's a system that requires some level of development. So I think it's something that we'll see in the future. I mean, it's something to talk about, something to be aware of, but I have a feeling that we're going to see this at some point in the future. But here you can see I'm kind of coming into land, and I'm very excited, so I'm not really doing that good a job of scanning the ground before I land, and I'm a little more interested in kind of getting this thing started because I want to see, you know, what all has dropped out of the pinata, so to speak. Now, as we're waiting for, you know, my skillful landing here, you know, here you can see a few of the crates lying on the ground, and I'm kind of getting excited about it and still not being all that smart about how I land, and some of the crates appear to be disappearing, so yeah. But what I wanted to talk about is, like, this is kind of fortuitous that this happened for a multitude of reasons. I mean, obviously there's the hopeful financial windfall in game from an event like this, but it also, you know, when we're talking about a landing system that helps you see in the dark and stuff like that, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the acquisition of crates, the picking up of crates, the placement of crates, and all of that within your starship. Now, of course, the system that we have now, as you can see here, and I'm about to realize, is the ramp is too far off the ground and I can't jump up with the crate, so I'm going to have to move the ship again. Like, the system that we currently have in the game is kind of good for, like, if you have to pick up one object and place it, but when you get into a situation where you have to pick up multiple objects and place them, it becomes a little bit problematic and a little bit inconvenient. And I mean, some of it, of course, is the bugs in the interface right now, and kind of overcoming those. Hopefully it'll be something that improves the performance of, or at least improves your ability to perform whilst you know, whilst trying to accomplish these tasks. Sorry, but you know, here you see me using the seat to make sure that the ship once again recognizes me as an entity and will open the doors for me. It's just one of the little tricks that we figure out, and hopefully one of the things that'll get fixed in the future. But overall, I think that the system as it stands now is insufficient. I mean, if you look at a ship like the Cutlass, one of the major design features of the Cutlass is the tractor beams. Now, that is a design feature that has yet to be implemented in game. So I would like to throw out a suggestion for the development of this system in the future, and something that I think that could be balanced very easily, and I think would make ships like the Cutlass, like the Caterpillar, consequently also ships that I own, so I would benefit from this, so I'm just putting that out there right up front. But I think that would make the tractor beams on these ships a lot more viable, I think, realistically, because even though, yeah, you could say, well, you could pick up one crate, place it, pick up one crate, place it. In the end, someone always has to place these crates, and the current system is just, it's really inconvenient. I'm going to show that to you because I'm going to be clearing out this entire debris field manually. And I'm also going to be speeding up the action while I do that. Now, obviously, the cargo system that we currently have in Star Citizen is you go to a station, like these two large crates in the background, you pick up or you buy whatever you're going to buy, it magically appears in your cargo, and you know that is something that CIG is looking to change. They want to get fully physicalized cargo, but in the end, when you kind of face the reality of this system, as I am facing here, it's, even in its most cooperative state, it's still going to be problematic and time consuming. Now, for ships that have tractor beams, much like the Cutlass does, I would suggest that part of the tractor beam system within the Cutlass includes the tractor beam, I guess, that would project out over the rear ramp, and then a secondary system within the cargo bay, so that someone would still have to aim the tractor beam, but then when you aim the tractor beam and you hit, say, a crate or something like that, then that crate would become isolated from the physics instance, both that of the moon and that of the interior of the ship. And that as you bring the crate in with the tractor beam, it transfers from, say, the external beam to an internal beam, and the internal beam then takes it out of the player's control and places it neatly within the ship, thereby allowing you to kind of stack up the cargo. There's still the the process of having to select the crate with the within the sights of the tool and then place it, and it having to then be brought up into the ship. There's still a process there, but it automates the stacking of the crates and makes it a lot neater. Now, a system like that automatically stacks the crates would give, you know, an in-lore reason for how these crates appear within your ship, all neatly stacked. You can, of course, still use the manual system to place them however you want, but it allows you to kind of hover over an area and begin to pick up the crates, because this whole operation, just to clean up the crates that were visible in this area, took over 45 minutes to complete. It was a fairly lengthy and time-consuming process. I mean, you've seen the sun almost be visible, and you're going to see now it's dark, and before I get out of here, the sun is going to rise again. Now, I'm up around the polar regions, so the sunrise and sunset times are a little bit different had I been somewhere around the equator, but still, you know, like the planet, the moon rather, is fully rotating while I'm trying to accomplish this task. And so I think that when tractor beams do become a part of the game, that a system like that should be incorporated into it. Now, of course, that benefits ships like, say, the Cutlass or the Caterpillar, certainly, but I think that in the case of a ship like the Avenger or something like that, where you wouldn't have those tractor beams, perhaps players can purchase a tool, you know, much like some type of multi-tool that's held in their hand, much like one of the weapons in the game that they can use to target a crate, and then pick it up and manipulate it through 3D space and then place it down neatly within their ship, so that they can kind of, you know, aim it at a crate, bring the crate in, and then kind of hold the crate in place and then place it where they want to place it, allowing them to once again still stack things neatly within their ship. Because as you can see, I had just gotten to the point where I was simply using the action of holstering and unholstering my sidearm to just get the crates within the ship, because otherwise I would have been here for hours trying to, you know, place the crates neatly and in the end efficiently use the space that's available to me within my ship. I think a system like that would bring, you know, some interesting gameplay elements. Yes, it might seem to people that, okay, so you just want to use space magic to quickly grab crates. That's not really kind of what the aim of the game is. And I think that realistically, in a situation like that, let's say that I had a couple of NPCs or a couple of players with me on my ship. I'm flying the ship, and I have someone scanning and showing on my HUD where all the crates are, and so I'm then flying over the area and then manipulating my ship in that 3D space to make the rear end of the ship more, you know, facing towards the goods that we're hoping to acquire, and then someone is still having to operate that tractor beam and scoop things up. I think that kind of bridges the gap between immersion and tediousness, and that's, I think that the current system, obviously something to be iterated on in the future and not the final system, quickly in a situation like this does become very tedious and regrettable. And though it may be very immersive, I think in the long term, I think most players will begin to resent a system where you physically have to manipulate each and every object like this, especially in this type of operation. So that, in the end, is my suggestion. That is what I would like to see in the physicalized cargo system, is ships with tractor beams being able to, in a way, still having players have to scoop up those pieces of cargo using the beam, but once the beam transitions that object within the ship, there could be just a simple little object attached to the ceiling of those cargo areas that then takes over and places the object neatly, probably using the same system that the game uses to more or less figure out how to place cargo within your ship neatly. just a suggestion. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here. Tomorrow's episode is going to be kind of relating to this one. It's going to involve playing with other people. And, you know, what I found that when I do play with other people, I found it to be a very rewarding experience. But we'll get into more detail with that in the next episode. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.